super excited to be here this morning. It's Shanda Sumter. I am doing these at 7 a.m. Monday through Friday, and it's our opportunity to have coffee together. So, good morning. Anyway, what are we going to talk about today? Well, what I want to talk to you about today is I have these hot seats that people turned in at my last zone event. And in these hot seats, people have asked me, great information about building a business. And so one of the things I promised to the event is that I wasn't able to get to everybody's hot seat. So I thought that I would start sharing some of the answers to these hot seats online at 7 a.m. So here's what our deal is. Our deal is that as you start to have breakthroughs around whatever I'm teaching today, I want you to actually comment in the comment section and tell me what the breakthroughs are so that we can actually start building a relationship. I start to notice who's commenting, who's not commenting. More, I notice who's commenting and who likes, who shares, who shares this information with other people on Facebook, on Instagram. Obviously, it's a little different, but it's my way of getting to know you. It's powerful because people always say they want to build their network. Well, part of building your network is actually being a contribution to other people, just like I'm being with you this morning. The way you're a contribution back is actually to give me feedback, tell me what's going on, share comments and post, and that way I can actually see what's going on. Okay, great. So let's get into it. So the topic is really about the fact that somebody had asked me, how, like, what they wanted to do is build a supportive community of women. So you could put anybody, right? A supportive community of women who have teenage girls. Her income goal is $100,000. So I'm going to show her how to actually worked out the numbers, how to make a significant amount of money and help these these women with teens, how to get connected to them, how to grow a community of them. And you can put in anything that you want. So obviously you need clients or you need customers or buyers, whatever terminology you use. And so you can use this same, function to build an engaged community. So when I read this, I was like, there's lots of different strategies I can go with on this. I mean, I could build a social media group, a Facebook group. I could grow, I could grow a mentorship group. I can grow all these different things with this. And first, I didn't go after the money in answering this question, the 100K. First, I went after the supportive community of women who have teenage girls. So first and foremost, I recommend that everybody does online shows. We run Facebook ads, Instagram ads. We have AdWords going on, which Google AdWords, where we spend money for advertising. We have an incredible team that helps us do that. However, the conversion rate of traffic, meaning that bot traffic that I buy online, it takes a lot longer for people to warm up to us in order to make a decision, which I get. Like, how can you just meet somebody on Instagram or Facebook, a Google ad, and all of a sudden go, oh, I love their article or I love their video. Now I'm willing to invest all this money with them. And even more so than that, I'm willing to allow them to lead me in whatever it is that I want. And so typically there's a trust bond that has to be created, unless you have a highly ambitious person that's like, I know that this is my person. I've done all my research. When I met this person, I knew this was the product or the service that I wanted to buy. However, many of us have a dream and a wish that we want something, and then when it gets put in front of us, we start to backpedal, right? It's like we get this fear of success, or we create some other like language, like I can't afford it, but that's just fear of success. Because if you knew, like I teach obviously how to make money. So people come to me all the time who don't have the income that they want. So their investment in investing with me is they all don't have the money. And so how come a certain percentage get them across the line, get themselves across the line to make the investment and then create their own success story, and then some don't? Well, some fight through and don't have fear of success, and others have massive fear of success, and so they don't work themselves through it, because what I'm promising is the thing that they actually want. So my point in sharing that with you is that when whatever your offer is to someone, typically you're going to find a large community of people that backpedal even though they've been praying for you. So when I look at her hot seat application, the thing that blocks her the most in achieving this goal is lack of confidence. So confidence, You have to lose the need to have confidence to succeed. I'll repeat that. You have to lose the need to have confidence to succeed. Nobody, I don't have confidence. Nobody has confidence in something that we've never succeeded in before. And so you have to lose the need to have confidence to be able to be successful. So stop seeking out confidence. Stop trying to find some way of hacking your brain for confidence. The way that you're going to gain confidence is to have the courage to actually do the thing that you're wanting to do to get the result that you want to do. So there's no easy way of getting confidence. You have to have the courage, and then confidence comes when you get good at something. The other thing that would block her is asking for money. So the enrollment conversation. So I'm not going to get into the enrollment conversation now, but what I'm going to get into is the community. So what I thought of is, for my clients who are listening, you already know this piece, so I'm going to just run through this part real quickly. Just bear with me. I recommend that everybody does an online show. Forget the paid advertising right now. The paid advertising is awesome, but I don't want you to spend money on Facebook ads and paid advertising until you already have incredible cash flow. Like, ignore the conversation out there when you haven't already got an email list, or you don't already have a good audience that you like off social media that is in an email database. Somebody will say, well, emails don't work. Bullshit. Like, excuse my language, but they work like crazy. I mean, billion-dollar companies use email all the time. Once you have people's email, you have more data, you have more, you can email them. You could email them and ask them if they want something valuable. They could give you their phone numbers. They can give you their mailing addresses. You just have an easier access to them. Emails can lead to text message, can lead to direct mail. There's just a lot of benefits to email. Plus, you can upload your email into your social platforms, and you can retarget your email list for your actual paid advertising later. So it really is the foundation to everything. So with that being said, I recommend people do online shows. There's a company called the Shift Network that does them. There's a company called Braveheart TV, which I don't think is around anymore because I think she sold it. There's somebody else here in Encinitas that does these, and they have like 200,000 registrations on an online show. So I teach these online shows, and we can show somebody anywhere between 45 days and 90 days how to have an email list of anywhere. I mean, if you do really bad, 600, but usually it's like somewhere between 1,500 and 2,700 is the normal number of your new registration list, which now gives you a list to be able to build the community. So like, she wants a community of she wants a supportive community. This hot seat that I'm doing wants a supportive community of women who have teenage girls. So she does an online show around like mothers who have teen kids. Like, it doesn't even have to be about her product, but it could be anything that serves mothers with teenage kids. And she interviews a bunch of people, and she does a talk show just like Oprah Winfrey does. Then she's going to become a high influencer to an audience and a community that quickly grows. So I'm not going to go into how to do that. If you need to know how to do that, just because the sake that a lot of our clients watch these 7 a.m. coffees, I don't want to like go through the whole, like, it'll take me longer than 10 minutes to share this with you. So you can comment that you need to know how to actually build this online show. Like, how do I build an online show? And then I'll pick that up and I'll send you a direct message, and I'll share details of that. If you're on Instagram, send me a DM, a direct message, and then I'll give you some coaching on how to do an online show, or I'll cut an audio and give that to you, and then you'll know how to create an online show. So once you do the online show, 45 to 90 days it takes to do this talk show, and you interview a bunch of people around a topic that really attracts the buyer, the ideal customer, the community that you want to build, just like this person in the hot seat. So now she wants to build $100,000 income. Before I get to that, what I thought of is she could actually do a webinar to this email list. So she grows the email list by doing the online show. That's step one. Step two is now she can actually do a webinar to that online, that email list that she has. So she sends out, let's say, 5 emails inside of a week. So one every day. And so people will be like, oh, I hate it when I get all those emails. The only reason why you'd ever hate getting a bunch of emails from someone is because you're not the ideal buyer for that product. When you're the ideal buyer for that product, you feel like, thank you, somebody's answering my prayers up there. to be able to help me get the result that I want. So it's a thank you. So you send 5 emails, one a day, that registers people for your webinar. Once you register them, you actually have to send at least 3 to 4 emails in a day reminding them to get on the webinar. So when you have the registrations for the webinar, you want to get about 25% of those registrations to show up to the actual webinar. You do the webinar training, which again, that's a whole nother training in its own. You can let me know you need to know how to do a webinar and just comment that in the comments or Instagram, send me a direct message. I can send you, I'll cut one audio and send it to all of you. But in order to, after you do a webinar, at the end of the webinar, first of all, teach incredible stuff on the webinar. That's mistake number one. People do webinars only to sell. You want to do webinars to bond, which means that you have to deliver great content so that people know that, first of all, they don't feel ripped off, that they just spent an hour with you and learned absolutely nothing, right? So you want to give great content so that at the end you can say, if you want my help doing this content, then what you can do right now is and make the offer. So if this person who filled out an application at a hot seat at one of our live events, if she actually did a webinar 1 month, so she sent out 5 emails a month, she could do the same webinar, believe it or not, every single month. Like, no, the list does not get annoyed by it. They don't get burnt out of it. It actually helps you get better. Imagine doing the same webinar 12 times in a year. By the time you get to the end of the year, you're going to be pretty good at that webinar because you'll keep tweaking it a little bit more every month to get great. I actually used that strategy to sell another product of mine 2 years ago. Every month I did a webinar, and I sent the same 5 emails out every month too. I got them written with a copywriter. They were really good emails. I invested in that, and I just repurposed it all year, every month. And I learned how to do a great webinar. Now I can do a webinar that actually is $1 million webinar based on the conversions. So if your webinar converts at 10% or more, then that's a 7-figure webinar if it's cold traffic. To your email list, it's probably going to convert a lot higher because of the fact that it's warm traffic to your email list. Side note, I won't go into all of that. Okay, so imagine if this woman did one online show. That's step one. She built a community of people that are mothers that have teenagers. That's how targeted you can get. Then she did a webinar every month for a year. And her goal was just to sell 20, like just 20. She just wants to sell 20 offers a month for people to join her community. I'm not going to get into the content that she would actually deliver in the community. But if she did the webinar every month and she sold 20, say she just charged $147 per buy to join her online community, that she basically, maybe she did something like this where she delivered content every week, or it doesn't matter. I'm not going to get into that detail. You can fill in the blanks of what to actually deliver. I'm just showing you how to make the money, how to build the community. So if she did 20 a month, then she would have 240 new members in her community, which is 140 more than what she asked me for. Now she's going to have attrition, which means that, so when you do people love the idea of a membership site because they think it's just going to make them money on demand. And I just want to just change people's mindsets. Let's not try and build businesses that only take care of us. Let's put our focus out there on other people and create businesses that actually, transform the world and have reoccurring buyers forever. That's how you create wealth. You don't create wealth by one buy, you create wealth by multiple buys by the same buyer. So even though I showed her how to sell and attract 240 paying community members a year at $147, I want her to just do the webinar every month, which gives her, the goal is to really get good enough to sell 20 a month, which is actually really easy at $147. Now she has 240 new members. So that will equate to just over $35,000 in revenue. So if you're a client of ours and you've actually gone in our PACE private program, this would be an easy strategy to make way more money than you've ever invested in me to learn how to actually do the online show. So now she'll have attrition on that 240 people, but if the attrition, let me back up for a sec. Like porn sites do a very good job at engaging the buyer. By the way, I don't endorse porn sites. I think it's a completely bad business model. However, they're very good at engaging their client that really wants more. There's an addiction there, right? And so with that, the with attrition, what they actually hold their client base for 90 days. So that means that if you're doing good, you're going to hold a membership base buyer, right? So if you have if you do the membership base, model, 90 days would be you held them for a good amount of time. And so the chances are you're going to hold them for like less than that, maybe 45 days, 60 days. So there's going to be attrition in this model. However, if you sell 20 a month and you just make that your model, you're going to land on at least 100 members. I mean, every month reoccurring, which works out to be just shy of $15,000 a month reoccurring income, which is awesome. That gets you over $100,000 a year. That gets you in, a position that now you have extra money to hire like a traffic team. Like, stop learning how to do Facebook ads if you don't want to grow an agency. Stop learning how to do Instagram, growing your Instagram account, or learning how to build your Facebook, audience. Like, stop learning how to do all this junk that you never got into business to learn how to do, and learn how to make the money so that you can hire somebody way better than you to learn how to do these things, right? Learn how to like educate you on how to present in a way that you grow your audiences on all platforms. But until then, do an incredible online show and put yourself in a position where you ask us questions. Like, ask us questions. Don't just sit there and watch these lives at 7 a.m. Ask me questions and I will answer them. I'll give you everything that I give our paying clients, but for God's sakes, actually go out there and do it. And for many of you guys, unless you actually invest, you won't actually do the work. And that's why we actually recommend that at some point you do invest, you do come and allow us to coach you at some point, or somebody else, right? But follow my strategy, because I'm going to tell you that I have many clients who, I was telling this to our team yesterday, that help us with our growth on our platforms, like our social media platforms. And I was saying, I've got clients that literally worked with me for 2 years. And I have a client right now, Amy Amata, who actually teaches, messaging. But Amy didn't even know her messaging until last year, but she already, and she made 7 figures this year. And so you got to think, like, there's so many things that we chase after that we feel like we need in order to grow their business. And I feel like I save people so much money if you just come to me and ask me questions before you actually spend money. Like, come and ask me, should I spend money on branding? Probably not, until you're already making great money. I have friends who make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. I have friends who make $100 million a year and have never branded in their entire life. However, you have Starbucks and other companies that brand. However, if you've got no traffic and you make no money, why would you ever brand? And there's all these branding companies out there that are not branders, that charge $8,000 to brand. That is not a branding company. That is somebody who's learned some sort of good marketing or messaging. And honestly, you could go get that from a copywriter and learn how to write emails that, they can write you a series of emails to go to your database that will make you way more money than a good headline for your website. So let me just, show you how to really build a good business that makes great money. And then don't hire the rookies. Hire the people who actually know how to get you to the next level. That's what's going to give you credibility and positioning so that you can actually skyrocket your business. Now, if you feel like you're a rookie in what you're selling, then you're selling the wrong thing. And I'll actually cover that tomorrow. So on 7 a.m. Coffee with me, I will cover, if you're feeling like a rookie, or you're feeling like a facade, or you're feeling like you don't have enough authority behind what it is that you sell, then I will, or you offer, I will actually go over that tomorrow morning. All right, you guys, I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Please comment. Let me know what's going on. If you're on Facebook, I look at the shares. Please share. I really appreciate it when you share. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Awesome.